And a lot of conflict shows up in a relationship when a man is not living in congruency with who he ultimately wants to be. And so a lot of the times this is solved by questioning guys and saying, like what I'll usually do is like, who are you actually wanting to be in the relationship, and who are you being right now? Because a lot of the times it's like, well, I'm being needy and I'm being insecure and I'm, passing off decisions that I know I want to be making. And, all of a sudden this huge list starts to unfold. And it's like, okay, well, who are you wanting to be in the relationship? And, one of the things that I wrote about is like, we as men are very externalized. And so we look out at our partners and we think, I have to figure her out. I have to figure out what she needs and what she wants. And I have to figure out how to make her happy. And if I can do all of those things, if I can figure her out and figure out how to make her happy, then maybe I'll get my needs met in return, right? This is like I hate this saying, like it's the epitome of like happy life, happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah,
like if I can just make
we're
you
all like
happy, then maybe I can get my needs met in return. And, and then there's another group of guys that are like, well, I don't give a shit about that at all. And so the pendulum's a little bit in the opposite direction. But what we have to start to do is to turn our focus or sort of spotlight of consciousness in the relationship away from our partner. How do I figure her out? How do I make her happy? How do I, all the sort of questions that most of us guys are rationally grappling with in our head, and turn it back towards ourselves and say, who am I being in the relationship? How am I showing up? Am I being reactive? Am I shutting down and it's sort of making excuses or reasons for that? Am I shutting down and disconnecting for days at a time from my partner? Am I blowing up and becoming angry and reactive and justifying that? Am I not asking for what I want? Am I not making certain decisions? And so when we can begin to do that, then we have hope that we can start to step into the type of self-leadership and self-authorship that a lot of men are deeply craving. And this is, in many ways, what I'm describing is a stepping towards and stepping into and the embodying of our masculine essence, that we take a not responsibility, but we take a call to adventure, a call to on the journey of who could I be and become. Because one of the things that I love about Carl Jung is he said, the fastest racehorse, or the fastest horse in the race of individuation is marriage, right? Or relationships. Because, and the other thing he said is that women stand right at the very edge of where a man's shadow begins. So what does all that mean? All that is a very complicated psychological way of saying that women are going to ignite your insecurities, your inferiorities, your fears, your doubts, and vice versa, right? You, when you're standing in your own truth and your own power and you're very clear on what you want, are going to ignite their fears and their insecurities and their inferiorities. And so we have to do the work to turn the lens back onto ourselves rather than trying to change their behavior, because we can't control that.